Brought to you by Penguin.
Cold Water by Dave Hutchinson. Read by Lexie Mcdougall. The Palm House. 1. In London, if you checked into a boutique hotel, the chances are that it would have been converted out of some 17th century pie shop or something, and its dozen or so rooms would be full of odd angles and sloping ceilings and uneven floors, and decorated with bits of bric-a-brac carefully sourced by professional designers from high-end junk shops. The last time she'd stayed in London, Carey's room had had a stuffed pike in a glass case mounted on the wall, its blank bead of an eye regarding the room as it swam eternally through a small forest of fake pondweed. There had been a little brass plaque attached to the case, informing the world that the fish had been caught by Mr. M.J. Harper at Winwood Pond in Middlesex on June 7, 1882. And it had occurred to her that Winwood Pond had probably been filled in and had a business park or a housing estate built on it decades ago, and this rather inexpertly mounted fish might be the only evidence it had ever been there. There had been no restaurant or room service, and breakfast had been a miserable affair involving a choice between cereal or a poached egg on artisanal white toast. In Poland, your boutique hotels came with 400 rooms, 2 conference suites, a business center, a Michelin-starred restaurant, and a roof terrace. Carey was booked into a black-faced cube fronted with small palm trees near the edge of Gliwice, where the town began to break up into detached houses and fields and little bits of forest. It was called Hotel Barbara, after, according to the 2-page bio printed in the lunch menu, a previous hotel on the site. She wasn't sure what the point was of demolishing a perfectly good hotel and building another one on the same spot, but she supposed that was how you wound up with 2 conference suites and a Michelin star. The hotel sat in a few hectares of grounds, a little way off the main road into town from the west, and it was half empty. Gliwice had its share of little museums and architectural attractions, but it wasn't really a tourist town. Most of the people she'd seen at breakfast this morning had been business people, in 1s and 2s and 3s, wearing Nehru jackets and Armani Revival suits and black Jessie Dunn boardroom couture. Jessie Dunn was everywhere in Europe, as ubiquitous as a uniform or T-shirt with a particularly dull meme. You saw it in Madrid and in Helsinki, and the only real variations Carey had ever noticed was a choice of heels. Breakfast, though, was pretty good, with options to make guests from all over the continent feel set up for the day, from minimalist Scandi cheese and sliced meat and crisp bread to the full bacon, scrambled egg, sausage, hash browns, black pudding, and baked beans experience that had been the signature breakfast of the international business traveler for decades. She'd opted for bacon and scrambled eggs and toast and coffee, and sat at a table in a corner of the big, airy dining room, feeling out of place in her jeans and gray sweatshirt and comfortable walking shoes. There had been no time to buy herself local coloration. She'd arrived the previous evening after a 4-day train journey from Barcelona, and shopping had not been high on her list of priorities. In the lobby, the business day was just beginning. Groups of business people stood around, briefcased up, shaking hands with new arrivals as they emerged from the lifts and heading outside as their taxis arrived. Some others sat on the soft furnishings scattered around, consulting pads and phones. The atmosphere was quiet and relaxed. None of them paid her any attention at all. She went into the shop and bought herself a paper guidebook and a map, considered the knickknacks for sale, which seemed to consist mainly of iterations of Gliwice's coat of arms, fridge magnets, decorative spoons, bookends, and little models of colliery winding gear blazoned with the names of neighboring towns. Bidum, Zabrze, Rudislawska, Upper Silesia, of which Gliwice had spent the past couple of decades aggressively.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?